Second cross. Yeah! Thank you! It's not a dream! Dream fun! Live it up, blue boy! Live it up!
Hey, everybody. It's the Noisy Neighbors podcast. It is me, Joey McCune. I am joined by Mark Mulvaney. He is in the background hitting switches. You know
What's
how
up?
it is. Yeah, hell yeah.
Big up City fans.
Hell yeah. Around the world. Welcome to the phone in. We've done this on Friday nights. We're doing it midday today to give some of our friends from across the pond and other parts of the world a better chance to be able to get involved. If it is your first time here, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Click the little bell. That way you get notified whenever we do live shows or any of our other shows. So this is a call-in show. You can video call in. You can, if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop a link in the chat that will take you to a web browser, and you just type in your name and it'll put you in our little queue at the bottom. Once we're ready, we'll bring people on to talk about whatever the hell we're going to talk about. We do have a kind of a broad range of topics today just because of there's been a few matches since we've done the podcast. We've also got our match coming up tomorrow, and there's a small matter of United Liverpool tomorrow that has potentially a pretty big effect on what we're trying to do this season. Before we get into everything, I do have to mention that this show is brought to you by the fine folks at Manscaped. Right up there, they are nice enough to continue letting us do this thing, and they help us out financially on it. Support for the show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Big news, Manscaped just released their new cologne scent to help you feel good and smell good all over at all times. Yeah, that's right, dude. Who knew smelling this good could feel so good, too? Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. Everyone knows Manscaped has the Perfect Package 3.0 for all your below-the-waist grooming needs, but they don't stop there. Complete your grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. They sent us this the other day. It comes in a nice box. Yeah, and then it opens up like even fancy. Ooh, refined indeed.
You are sorted for Valentine's Day, pal.
Dude, you telling me you got smooth nuts and some smell good? Come on now. It's only going to go good for you. It's the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped formulas. This cologne is perfect. It's a perfect complement for the collection. It's light, approachable, and gentlemanly in all the right ways, much like
That's
us, probably. Yeah, for sure. Think of it as the wingman for your night that keeps you fresh and ready for anything. Also like us, probably. It's calming and inviting. The signature scent introduces a light citrus burst before settling into the anchoring notes of vetiver and woodsy masculine finish. It's 50 ml. Spray cologne is even hypoallergenic, cruelty-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and 100% vegan. I guess that's in case you choose to eat it. Probably don't eat it. Also, be sure to check out the Perfect Package 3.0 with all the essentials for your below-the-waist grooming needs, including the Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer and crop formulations. Yes, I'm talking about ball deodorant and toner to keep your testes their besties.
I'm on that trimmer, mate. I am on that trimmer.
It rules.
I've used all sorts of things to, keep my John Stones in order.
True.
But that trimmer is top notch. Absolutely, mate. I've not nicked a wrinkle in ages.
Now, if you want to smell good and you want your balls to look good, go ahead, head over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code NOISYPOD. You will get 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Your body and balls will thank you. Again, get 20% off and free shipping using the code NOISYPOD at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code NOISYPOD. Look good, smell good, feel good with Manscaped. What's that old phrase like clear eyes, full hearts can't lose or whatever? I feel like ours should be like Clear eyes, full hearts, smooth balls, can't lose. You know what I mean?
Let's
I feel
go.
like that makes sense. Somebody the other
Thank,
day hit us up
thank
and
you,
said,
Manscaped.
yeah, thanks, Manscaped. Can't believe they pay us to talk about our nuts. I'll take it. So, Mulv, if you haven't already, let's go ahead and drop that link in the chat for me, please. I think the first thing we'll talk about, just because we haven't talked about it together yet, is the Brighton match. We don't have to spend too much time on it. We had a 3-0 victory over Birmingham in the FA Cup. It's the FA Cup. I'm not really too interested in spending a ton of time about it. Brighton, on the other hand, did you happen to catch the Brighton game before the show?
Yeah, I watched it, mate.
So we'll get into them, how we feel about them after we talk our match real quick. I just wanted to make sure you had seen it.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
So City win 1-0. Lineup comes out. It's Ederson, Cancelo, Stones, Zinchenko, Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan, Mahrez, De Bruyne, and Foden. I don't think anybody was too surprised one way or the other on how we felt about it. I wasn't heartbroken about anybody, and I wasn't over the moon about anything else. It was just kind of a run-of-the-mill lineup.
Yeah.
Now, during the match, second half in particular, did you feel nervy at all during this thing? Were you nervous about Brighton, getting one back?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's just by my nature, really.
Yeah, true.
One goal lead as a City fan is just never enough, is it? Two sometimes not enough. But yeah, there was a stretch there, probably the last half an hour of the game, where Brighton were really threatening. But sometimes the defense carries you, and that's a weird thing about this season is Pep Guardiola's defense is probably going to carry him in, to a title challenge, and that is weird stuff.
It's a weird sentence.
Mad, yeah. What did you think? Were you worried when we were sort of, they kept the ball for a good part of 30 minutes there towards the end of the game?
Yeah. Honestly, I was never too worried,
and
I think that says a ton.
It does
about the guys at the back and even the fella in front of them.
Yeah.
I was just never fearful, I guess. Even when they countered, I just assumed that we would be in front of it. I trust Ederson enough that, the shots that he faces now, for the most part, are pretty low percentage anyways. So I trust him to be able to deal with any kind of pot shots. And then Stones, Diaz. I mean, we're running out of words for how good they are.
Yeah. I will say I wanted Fernandinho with about 20 minutes to go. That's how nervous I was. I would say I was less nervous than I've been before, though. Like with a 1-goal lead, I will say I was. I wouldn't say I was comfortable, but I did feel better about it than I have, in a long time about the defense with a 1-goal lead. But I did want Fernandinho to come in, just to see if we could get hold of the ball and keep it for a bit.
Yeah, especially once it was pretty noticeable, the guys that were getting gassed. And once Kevin, you could see Kevin kind of fall off. Once he fell off, all I could think of was like, why aren't we just throwing like Fernandinho on, or if there's any defenders on the bench, give me one of them in there. Like, let's go 5 at the back. I don't care, but like get Kevin off so he doesn't get hurt. And just see this thing out. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you do have to give Thingy a rest. I feel like that's probably a different sponsor. We won't talk about it.
Same genre.
Yeah, they just don't pay us. Yeah, I was never too terribly worried though. The penalty's been done to death. Crap penalty. Surprised Sterling took it, but whatever. All's well that ends well, I guess.
It was a strange one, mate. It reminded me of when they let Mahrez take the penalty against Liverpool at Anfield. That I feel like it was an attempt to give a player some confidence, and and it backfired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was surprising because the game was still in the balance, and you've got a player who notoriously struggles when he has a lot of time to think before he shoots, and
Yeah.
a penalty is the definition of having a long time to think before you shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
I
other
can see how
shot
that
that
was problematic.
yeah, there's no other shot that you have longer to think about than a penalty kick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a weird one, and it's a shame he missed it because he's in a bit of a funk, and I something needs to snap him out of it.
Right.
We had a caller come in just then.
Mhm.
Come on back in if you can do, and we'll have you on the show.
Yeah, if you want to get involved, click the link in the chat. Again, it'll put you into our little queue down there, and then we'll bring people on as we're going through this whole thing. Just to kind of round out the Brighton talk, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. There's enough stuff going on this weekend and past that we can, make this thing go for 2 hours. So match ends. There's been a lot of praise going around for Brighton. I just wanted to see, and I think I know where you stand on this. So how do you feel about the result now that it's behind us? We've had a few days to kind of mull it over. And then secondly, how do you feel about, or what are your thoughts kind of on Brighton and their manager, Graham Potter?
This is the Premier League's the deepest league in Europe, mate.
100%.
A team like
100%.
Brighton, who play such good football under that manager. You saw today they played pretty well against Leeds again and finally managed to get 3 points.
The goal that they scored was a City goal.
Yeah.
It was a Guardiola goal.
FIFA-esque, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
FIFA
rage quit kind of goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pleased for them today that they won because I thought they were really good against us, and the way I've never seen a team. I haven't seen a team in a long while be able to keep the ball from City for half an hour. You know, that's our thing. We possess the ball and we just grind you down. And they had it for half an hour. We couldn't get it off of them. But their struggle, like ours was and still is to some degree, it was just putting the ball in the back of the net, and if they can find a way to do that, I don't see them staying at the bottom of the table much longer. I think they'll climb their way up to mid-table, and I think their football deserves it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Can I ask you real quick, because I heard the little thing in my ear that we've got somebody.
Yes, we have a caller.
Before we get to the caller, I want to ask you, do you think there was always this question when Bournemouth was in the league, and it was the Eddie Howe question.
Yeah.
How long can Bournemouth hold on to Eddie Howe with how they play and what he's managed to do? Do you think that Brighton can hold on to Graham Potter? I think he's only been the first team manager for a year and a half, maybe. Do you think that they can hold on to Graham Potter much longer? Like past next season, maybe? Or do you think he's kind of destined to make his way up the ladder a little bit?
Yeah, he could. I'm trying to think if there's any teams that he would be a good fit for now.
Right.
Maybe not yet. It's a bit weird. Like a team like Wolves, you saw today, Wolves lost to West Brom, and there's a manager in Nuno who everybody loves. He's an up and coming manager, but they're really struggling this season.
I'll tell you, I was thinking of another W for Graham Potter that I think he would do.
Go on.
West Ham.
Oh, okay.
Once Moyes, if he decides to leave or his contract's up or something, I think West Ham is a interesting proposition because it's a once we get out of this COVID stuff, you get a massive ground. It's a club that isn't short on money.
Nope.
Really. Compared to Brighton, they've got more to play with than Brighton does. And a rabid fan base that I think would welcome Graham Potter's style there in terms of how he plays, and he wants to put the ball on the floor and play a little bit, even if they're the underdog. I think it would be an interesting little marriage there should it happen.
Nice one.
All right, well let's get into the callers. Let's see what people want to talk about. We will do this thing. Who do we got up first? Hey, Spencer, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man. Hey, Mulv, can you put up the names in the bottom of the screens just so everyone, when they call in, we can see who it is? Spencer, what do you got, dude? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to you guys. I missed the last call-in, so I wanted to say hi to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and see what you guys were thinking of in the next few games, because because we had a really rough run of games in December, and especially with all the games kind of put in with the holiday festive fixtures, all that.
Right.
And now we're playing the likes of Villa and Palace, and they're supposed to be easier, but are they really easier?
Yeah. So it's a good question, Spencer, because I think Brighton is a pretty good lead into that entire conversation, right? Because Brighton's position in the table is a lie. They aren't as bad as their position in the table. They have more away wins than Liverpool does. This is not a crap team that deserves to be in the bottom of the barrel.
They always lose by one goal or so, and it's such a lie. They've been playing so great this year, especially this year, and you really saw how gritty they played against us, and the way that they were trying to take advantage of Cancelo playing in the midfield. Trying to get the counter and take care of the counter on the wing. Yeah. It was they're a good side, and at the same time, I'm not so sure so sure it's going to be a walk in the park with Palace either. It rarely ever is.
Let me give you some info on Palace, because I told Mulv before we went on here, for some reason.
And NYC.
I had nothing better to do this morning, so I've been prepping for this for like 4 hours.
God.
I'm sick. Shout out. So just kind of to set the stage for the Palace match, a win in this for City would be City's 8th in a row across all competitions. Palace have won 1, drawn 2, and lost 3 in their last 6 matches in all competitions, but they enter the match on a 3-game unbeaten streak in the Premier League, which includes a draw against Arsenal, a win against Sheffield, and a draw against Leicester. So it's clearly a team that's set up to give problems to the sides that like to keep the ball. Another thing that's worth noting, they've allowed 2 goals in the last 4 matches. I mean, that's on par with City, in that short span of time. We'll talk about kind of City's injuries and stuff, or, however you want to call it, here in a little bit. But I think you're dead on, Spencer. You've got a team that's coming into this that has nicked points off of Leicester and Arsenal. They beat a Sheffield United side that kind of took the league by storm last year as a surprise. And it seems like Roy somehow, at the age of, I think, 846, has managed to still outfox some of the managers in the Premier League. I'll tell you what, I just heard the little bang in my ear again. Spencer, let me ask you real quick before we move on. I want to know who. Okay, so it'll be kind of a 2-part question. Would you make any changes against Palace from the Brighton match? I'll kind of foreshadow that. Aston Villa is on Wednesday.
I'd like to see how Mendy does instead of Zinchenko in the left back.
Okay.
I think it would provide a lot of pace, especially going up and then coming back again. Other than that, I want to see Sterling play more, because he tweeted, I think yesterday or today, someone reached out and goes, man, we really need you in form. And he goes, yeah, I need me in form. And it really shows how hard he is on himself. And, there's a good side to that and a bad side to that. Good side is, if you're your own worst enemy, then nothing anyone else says could really hurt you. But after a while, if you keep saying those things, you start believing those bad things.
Right.
And the fact that he's missed three penalties in a row, and it's clear, as you guys said earlier, that he overthinks and he gets in his own head, and he's got to get it, because he's still one of our best players. He's one of the best English players around right now. So it's not like he's terribly out of form, but he still needs to get back in form. We need more of that. So I would start Sterling without a doubt. And
so you've got two changes, and it's Mendy for Zinchenko and Sterling for Mahrez, Foden, Bernardo, Kevin, Gundogan.
I put him instead of Mahrez. I think Mahrez was found out just a little bit in the Brighton match, because every time he tried to make that pivot, they knew exactly what he was going to do. I like Mahrez, and I think he's a great player, but I'm getting some Jesus Navas vibes right now, where he tries to do the same thing over and over, and all the defenders just kind of read it like a book.
Can I tell you what annoys me about him is he tries to do the Arjen Robben thing, but he's not Arjen Robben. Arjen Robben, everybody on the planet knew that, like, all right, he's going to dip his shoulder and he's going to cut into his left foot and he's going to bang this thing far post. And Mahrez tries it, and I don't know if it's the way he does it or the pace at which he does it, but it doesn't come off enough. One more thing before I let you go. It'll be a quick one.
Sure.
I'm going to give you the let's see here. Just go ahead and give me your score line for the Palace match.
It's going to be a 1-goal game, so I'm going to say either 1-0 or 2-1 to City.
Okay. All right. So that's City 3 points.
Yeah. Hey,
cool.
I'll take it.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Well, Spencer, dude, I appreciate you calling in. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
And I'm sure
And by the way, great job with the Duff over the weekend. He's a true blue. He's a great guy. And I'm just waiting for the Noel or Liam Gallagher podcast next.
You too, huh?
You know what?
Spencer.
Just get Gem. Just get Gem, and we'll be all right.
See you, bro. All right, Spencer.
Bye, guys.
I appreciate you, buddy. Take it easy. Mulv.
Nice one.
Yeah, let me since we're talking about Palace, let's run through a few things here while we're keeping this thing going. Or did our other person dropped off? Yeah.
Yeah. Come on back if you like.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to get involved in the conversation, even if it's not about Palace or whatever, if you have a question or just want to chat about something, do it. We got time.
Let's do something really quickly, mate, because we don't do this often.
Go for it.
Let's see. It is this one.
Let's cover the men. You know what, Adam? The more U.S. women's national team players end up at City, the better it is for me, because I kind of get to double dip. It's pretty nice. I think also it's better for the national team as a whole that you do have other women that are at United. Alex Morgan's at Spurs. It's better for the women because they're competing against each other now more often than they were beforehand. And I also think it's nice that the Women's Premier League or Women's Super League, I forget what they've named that one, but it's nice that some of these clubs are going out there and acquiring these big players to not only bring eyes to the competition, but it makes the competition more dangerous. It makes it to where there's actually something to watch kind of between tournaments, because a lot of times, the women's just professional game doesn't get seen outside of, World Cup or the Euros or something like that. The TV deals are sometimes kind of dodgy, but I think the more big name players you have from some of these big national teams like the US and Canada, Germany, Sweden, Australia, Brazil, the more of these players that end up coming to, the Women's Premier League or the French league was kind of the place to be there for a while. The more players that make that move, I think the better it is for those leagues, for those players, for the national teams, and even for the game as a whole. So I'm all about Dahlkemper coming, and I'm curious to see how she fits in with the team. Jacob Lackey, I think our early goal is critical against Palace. I'll tell you what, Jacob, I don't know if you listened to the 9320 podcast that they did with, his name is slipping my mind.
Thingy.
That's right. With Thingy from, he covers Palace a lot. And he's a good football writer. But they even mentioned that Palace is set up to soak up pressure and then counter and get a quick goal. And it's when they have to go on the front foot and actually play a little bit that they tend to struggle. That point was hammered home on 9320 this week by Steve and Howard. And man, it's killing me. I cannot remember his name. Anyway, I think you're right though. I think we have to make them try to play. I do want to, Mulv, I want to get into
guy.
Yeah.
HLTCO.
Oh yeah, sorry, I couldn't remember HLTCO. My bad.
All right, we have a caller, mate.
Do we?
We got a lad from across the pond.
He's from Portugal.
No, he's from Oldham.
Hold on.
What's happening here?
Okay, go.
Okay.
Yes.
Up the latex. Hey, James, how are you, buddy?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's Saturday afternoon. It's cold. It's snowing. It's Cleveland. How are things in Oldham? Probably not too different.
Pretty much the same, mate. I'm literally 2 minutes from the stadium, the Oldham Stadium, that is.
We almost died outside that thing.
What's that?
We almost died outside of that thing.
Do you know what? I know, because you guys did a birthday video for me earlier on in the year. They thought you were buying the club, right?
That was a I don't know what we thought was going to happen, honestly. So we go to the stadium. Just for people that haven't heard this, we had gone over there for the City and Liverpool match back when Pellegrini was still in charge. We got smashed. So we went up to Oldham, and it was against Morecambe, I think, Mulv, if that's right. So the game ends, and silly us, we're thinking that it's going to be like, you know, the modern world. We can just like bang and bang. There's an Uber, hop in the car, and you just get taken back down to Manchester. Not the case. We get out of there. We like stomp across a muddy pitch that's kind of down the street, and then went into a McDonald's and proceeded to call, I think, a taxi company or like a car rental service. And it was just like 5 Americans sitting in McDonald's at, I don't know, midnight, trying to catch a cab back to Manchester. It was a very weird situation. And we showed up like a little bit late, and the broadcasters behind us thought we were like in a conglomerate of Americans that were there to buy the club or something. Mistaken. That was not the case. We do not have that kind of money.
You do, mate. Honestly. Just like any spare change in your pocket, like I think that'll do for them.
So, James, what do you want to talk about, buddy? Huh?
I've got 2 questions for you.
Hit me.
One's podcast related and one's City related. So I know that when Pep brought Lilo, is it the assistant manager?
Lilo, yeah.
Yeah, he brought him in on like a short-term deal, and everyone kind of thought, "Oh, Pep's not signed his new deal. This is just a short-term thing." Now that Pep has signed, kind of got back on board for a couple more years, do you think that this is going to continue? Do you think he's going to get some more young blood in? People have talked about Xabi Alonso, you know, someone more in the Arteta mode. Do you think that's something that might happen?
I think it's going to have to, because I don't know how long Kiddo's got left in terms of like wanting to do this every day. You know what I mean? Like, I know the guy loves the game and everything, but at some point you got to tap out. And I think Kiddo's probably a year or two away from that, which is sad, because at this point he's kind of become, part of the furniture at the club. He's been there forever. He made the jump to the good side of town and everything's been great. But yeah, I think that is something that's going to continue, because Pep is, this is me speaking for Pep, just based off of things that I've read about him. Pep just seems like one of those guys that his whole goal is he wants to impart his wisdom onto other people, and he wants them to not only learn from it, but kind of develop their own way of thinking about the game. If you read about how he and Philip Lahm and Xabi Alonso, like you mentioned, got along, it just seems like a natural progression. There is a gentleman whose birthday was today or yesterday that played a long time at City that I think could come back and I think could be a good manager. That's Pablo Zabaleta.
Imagine that. So happy.
Cry. We would just all cry. Yeah. You would just see him there, Cagoule zipped up. Holy James.
Nice.
We got him.
Sign the contract.
Hello, guys. Hello.
Hey Pablo, how's things in
hello.
How's Argentina, dude?
It's very good. Very good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, bye.
Have you seen the video with him and Aguero after winning the league, when he talks about drinking 5-7 champagnes?
Yeah. We will have 5-7 bottles of champagne and we will get drunk. He's the man. He's the best.
Top.
But yeah, James, I think you're onto something there, where we'll continue to try to bring in young blood.
Do you know, left field shout, Fernandinho.
I don't think that's that crazy either. Fernandinho, Zabaleta. I think if Gareth Barry wanted to get into it, that's a smart guy. The same way that Scott Parker and Frank Lampard have made that transition, I think Gareth Barry is kind of along those lines. There's a guy here, ex-City player, that has been going back and forth on whether or not he wants to manage, and it's Neda Manua, who
do you know what? He's such an intelligent guy,
isn't he?
I love his podcast. Yeah, his podcast is top. I found it recently, and I've absolutely caned every episode. He's so insightful.
He's amazing. So he's he's kind of, I think he's on the fence about it. I would love if he went into it, because I think that, again, it's a really, really smart guy. But anyways,
he's just moved back here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the man. What's your other question?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm a massive podcast fan.
Okay.
I listen to you guys, 9320, Manuel Ramble, the whole lot. A couple hours every day, of other things as well. I'm obsessed. It's something that I thoroughly enjoy, and I've approached a couple of mates recently about doing one ourselves, just for fun, Do you have any advice on how to get started, how to sort of, how to make it interesting, any pitfalls?
So, I mean, well, if we're I'm okay to like say how this thing actually, not we don't have to do the whole origin story, but like what this show was before we had like technology.
Yeah, we'll tell you the origin story offline sometime.
Yeah,
it's been described as very punk rock by someone who would know. So
yeah. So honestly, James, just make sure it's something you give a shit about, and then just be yourself about it. This is pretty much who if anything, I toned down for this. Then I'm normally a pretty big piece of garbage, so I toned down a little.
He's on a 3 right now. Usually he's a 9 or 10.
That's true. So be yourself. Make sure it's something you actually give a shit about, and really just feel it out. We didn't have a ton of fanfare or anything like that. We started recording this thing like in Mulv's car outside the pub. I mean, it wasn't Yeah. We had his phone and we had a mic plugged into it. And then I would sit in one seat and he would sit in the other, and we had the mic angled out so it would catch both of our voices well. And then we would just chat in the car because it was good acoustics. And then once then we just started doing. We would do it over Zoom or we would do it over Skype, and we would like record both of our audios and then send it to one person. That person would mix it together. And then when I moved, obviously we had to kind of change things again. Well, we decided to start doing this, and we found StreamYard, which is nice. So we can do this on StreamYard where it sends it to YouTube and to Facebook at the same time. And you just do it, dude. Like there's no, as long as you like what you're talking about and you're honest and you're kind of who you are normally, people will find it. It's not that I think some people try too hard, and that's maybe a pitfall of like you try to do too much, you try to emulate somebody else too much, or there's people that radio voice it, which I always think is funny, where they'll be like, hey, come on into that. It's like, okay, fucking, you don't talk like that. No one talks like that. So don't
I can't hide this accent, mate.
Exactly. So just be you, be who you are, talk about something you give a shit about, and then get on the social medias and throw it out to the masses, and kind of, if you build it, they will come type situation.
I would say, James, do it because you enjoy doing it. Don't focus on the numbers of downloads or views or all of that bollocks. Just do it because it's fun. Even if 5 people are listening, if you enjoy it, those 5 people will be loving it, Yeah. And, it's people like yourself who've been listening to us for ages that even if, there's only a few of you, we'd still do it. It's so much fun. So,
yeah.
Guys, it's appreciated as well. It's massively appreciated. I think I've treated you guys in the past and said that I work in sales and I'm on the road by myself most days, and you guys and the other podcast listen to it. It's like having mates in the car, so it's greatly appreciated.
Thanks so much, mate.
Well, we appreciate you, dude. Hell yeah. Damn.
Cheers, guys.
All right.
Thanks, mate. Call in again sometime, yeah?
Will do.
For sure. All right.
All right.
Thank you, James. I appreciate you,
Cheers.
dude. See you later.
Bye.
Damn. That was dope. Okay. So I want to talk about how are we doing on time? Oh, we're crushing it. Okay. We're doing good.
We got a caller.
Okay, go for it.
Pun that we're going to add in here. Come on. This is a big friend of the show.
This is a big get.
Oh yeah, it's a big get. It's a big get. I'll bring him in here.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe from somewhere near Sheffield. He can correct us. It's Big Dave. It's Vic's dad. Welcome.
Oh,
hi guys.
Holy cow. Mr. Gregory, how are you?
I'm very, very well, my friend. And you?
I'm good.
Keeping safe.
Yeah, I'm actually, things are going okay enough where we live that me and my wife are going out on our first date since like July.
Right.
So for moving halfway across the country and being locked in a house for 9 months, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, if everybody over here, I feel if everybody was to just do as they're told, we would be out of this mess. And I see it in the States as well. These idiots that just will not do what everybody else is saying you need to do. Wear a mask for God's sake.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. I mean, I have to wear a mask for work, and then if you go to restaurants and stuff, I mean, they're pretty good at keeping everybody spaced out, and they all spend all this money on these new heating and air conditioning systems that filter the air 50 million times. Like it's not that hard to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what you got, Dave? What do you want to talk about?
Well, the tragic loss of a player who so many of your listeners won't remember. Well, remember, but have never actually seen the guy play. Right. And I'd just like to spend a bit of time honouring the guy.
Please do.
Well, I mean, I'm at the tender age where was a big supporter prior to Colin joining, so I saw the formation of that team. I joined the Royal Navy in 1966. Consequently, spent time then away. But prior to that,
thank you for your service.
I'd gone to virtually every home game because I worked delivering bread to shops. So coming back through Manchester, my driver would drop me off at Main Road, and I'd be off to watch the game. And as you know, the whole family have supported City, but Colin was the closest I would say modern day to Colin is Kevin De Bruyne.
I've heard this.
Some people were tempted to say David Silva, but David was a different type of player. Colin, when you've heard the expression box to box,
right?
And that's what Colin brought. He would be defending, then leading a charge. He'd play the kind of ball that you see Kevin play, and then be on the other end to accept the pass back.
Right.
The energy, and I think Kevin is very, very similar in his physical attributes and his lung capacity. I think it's the biggest thing is the recovery. Tragically, with the injury that he got, he was just peaking when we lost him as a player. Really, I mean, he 2 years injured and never ever came back.
It was a knee injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was burst blood vessels in his knee. It was there's always a question mark as to whether it was a bad tackle, whether it was an intended tackle. I really, it's not fair to say.
Right.
But it did, the knee just seized up because there was blood pouring into the knee joint until he could be got into hospital and treated. And he worked incredibly hard. On his own, pounding the streets and working in the gym to get back in. But he knew once he tried to, started to play. I mean, he would play a game and then spend 3 days trying to recover. His knee would just balloon. That's all he was really doing. He couldn't train. He could only play, which was such a shame. And as a man, he was so modest and so humble that I remember a long time ago, I met a guy called Roy Paul, who was a Welsh international, played for City in the 50s. And we'd gone for a stadium tour, and he said that compared to him in his day and modern day football, and I'm going back to the 70s, early 80s, he said, all these kids want to do is play football. He said, in my day, I'd play a game,
that's how it goes.
get on the bus and go home, and nobody would know me. He said, but now, they're stars, and therefore they don't get the opportunity to be normal people as much as they would like.
Right.
And that was all Colin wanted. He would talk to you, but in a room where Colin was, you could almost see him saying, please don't come over, please don't come over. And of course, that's the one thing everybody wants to do, is go and talk to Colin.
Right.
Those of us of a certain age. But there's lots of them. A chap we had the good fortune to meet a couple of years ago was Ian Brightwell. And he came over to us to have a chat, and he said, I'm Ian Brightwell. I said, I know that. But again, it wasn't, it wasn't it was, I mean, he got no hair by the time he spoke to us at that time. So, but that's all they want to do. That's all they ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
Play football and, throw a ball at the feet, and they're happy as Larry. And Colin was just like that. Just really wanted to play football.
Can I ask you, do you think there's, I don't know, it's probably just like coincidental or something, but do you think it's interesting that City seem to have these kind of generational talents that show up and then have a knee problem, and then they kind of ride off, where you've got Colin Bell and you've got Paul Lake, and potentially we're seeing the same thing right now? with Aguero not being able to get over whatever he's got going on.
Well, there's a mixture with Aguero. I mean, it's also it's the demands on the player. I mean, when Colin Bell was a player, the tackles that would be mundane,
very true,
now would be red cards, automatic red cards.
Very true.
So the modern day player is protected a lot more by referees. I mean, sometimes you may not feel that when you watch some of the tackles. The guy diving in on Phil Foden towards the end of midweek game, you're thinking, for goodness sake, and not even booked. But these were a time when they would come through the back of you. You got possession and you were just wiped out, and nobody seemed, it's always a temptation to try to compare, but you can't because you played in a different age. The ball was different. I mean, the just purely
leather and
and the grounds. Some of I mean, I've been enjoying sending Victoria videos I find on YouTube of games from the late 60s, early 70s, and they're playing on mud so often. And now, it's a fantastic playing surface.
It's like a putting green.
Yeah. So you can't really compare one era of players with another. And I think injuries are a byproduct of the effort you put in. In Colin's case, he was trying to turn as the player came in. And Paul Lakes was very similar.
Right.
Except Colin was in an attacking position. Paul Lake wasn't. Paul Lake was coming out of defence. And I was actually at that game, and it was heartbreaking to see it because, and although Colin had some good years, Paul Lake hadn't. He was only starting to come into his own. But I think there's a big time frame between the two incidents. Sergio's is a knee injury, but it's not a knee injury brought about necessarily by bad tackling,
right?
Even allowing for the one in the derby where we lost 3-2 and shouldn't have done. But it's just the pressure. It's the constant running, the speed when you suddenly accelerate. And if you have a niggle, it will be exacerbated by the effort that you put in. And but it's a natural byproduct. Players will get injured. With Sergio, he's the wrong age now. I mean, Colin was 28, 29 when he was injured. And we've had nearly 10 stunning years out of Sergio, which is fantastic.
You believe that, by the way?
Yeah.
You believe it's been a decade?
Yeah. Oh no, and it says a lot about us as a club that a player of that talent has wanted to stay. As with David, that the behind the scenes, the club are doing so much to ensure the players are getting looked after.
Yeah.
So it's the future's bright, the future's blue.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, David, we're backing up here. So I need to ask you a question because I think your answer will be, I don't know. Your answer will be different from some other people, I think. The match tomorrow, and not the City match, United and Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
If someone has to win, who would you rather see win that match?
I would have to say United.
Okay.
Because I can see United falling apart, whereas I can't see Liverpool being as likely to fall apart.
Okay, that's fair.
So, for United to open up a 6-point lead over Liverpool isn't the end of the world.
Right.
But for Liverpool to open up a 6-point lead over somebody else, over United, it probably would be. Because United haven't got enough players who can turn it on at the same time.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Well, holy hell. This has been cool. Mulv, we're backed up, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Big Dave.
Yeah.
Great to see you, mate.
Dave, I appreciate the hell out of you.
Yeah,
it's good seeing your face.
Look forward to a time when we can watch football properly.
Absolutely.
Take care of yourself. Give Miss G our love, and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
Legend. Whew.
Father of a legend.
Man, oh man. That's royal family right there.
Husband of a legend.
True. Okay.
Here we
We
go.
got a little bit of we got a lineup here, right? Yeah, let's just fucking
865,
fire them at me.
It's 865s. Have I got that right?
It's 865, yeah.
Is that Knoxville?
Yes, it is.
Let's go. Here he is.
Woo!
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Jacob? How are you, buddy?
Representing. I'm doing good, man. Haven't watched much football outside of city.
Yeah.
So kind of leaving that for tomorrow to watch whatever that United debacle is going to be. And sorry, my dog. But
He's pissed.
he is pissed. I'm gonna get him to calm down for a second. But yeah, I was actually gonna follow up with the title race, and I'll probably be quick because I doubt he'll be quiet long.
Okay.
So I was thinking about it, and the question you asked earlier, Mark, I might go back in to do this. Hold on. Hey, stop.
If you've got to go
But,
babysit, we'll be here for at least another hour.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say, I think the most annoying thing about this is I think that everyone knows that United is not legitimate. And I think their fans are just boiling the piss here to kind of make them seem like
That's a really good point.
like I don't think anyone thinks 100 to 1 on United winning the title. They're not going to do it. But I'm going to shut up.
This dog is not having it.
Jacob, take care of him.
That's the one. Joe, I do want to say good luck tomorrow. I know your heart is going to be heavy.
Go Browns.
Sorry, mate.
I've never seen a heel turn so hard in my life. That dog hates City, dude.
All right. Let's bring in another guest.
Who's next?
From America's Hat. It's Dickie Bitters, isn't it?
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Dickie Bitters mating call.
That was meant, guys. That was hilarious.
How are you, my friend? Did you get everything you needed from the store?
I did, thank you. I was in front of the liquor store before they opened this morning. You know, you've got to get an early start, lads. So, you know, get there before all the germs are spread around and get your booze and head out.
That's how I'm going to start framing it anytime I go now.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
No. I'm not it's not an alcoholism problem. I'm just trying to beat the germs. I like that.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Anyway, main reason for phoning, I wanted to phone in and tease Mulv a little bit because I stopped in at our best little Italian bakery at lunchtime today. And these are the best damn sausage rolls this side of the ocean, mate. If you come up to Toronto anytime, consider yourself getting a 6-pack of these from me for now.
6-pack?
I got to tell you, we actually have been planning. Well, I don't know if is the border open? Am I allowed to drive over there? I don't know if it's not. Okay.
No.
Well, when it does, we have been planning a me and the wife a trip up to Toronto because you're like, I think you're
it's about 4 hours. Yeah, about 4. Yeah.
So we've been planning that as like a post-COVID vacation since we can't do anything else. So at least then we could leave the country and go see something different without having to, fly across the ocean.
Yeah.
But man, sausage rolls really pisses me off. Now I want sausage rolls.
I'm sorry.
Closest thing we have is there's a place in Buffalo, I think, called Parker's that does mean sausage rolls. They'll ship them to you like dry ice frozen, and they do pies. They've got all kinds of different bangers and little chipolatas and stuff. They got all kinds of stuff. Good place.
Well, I know you lads appreciate your pastries, so I thought I'd pick them up and I'd give you lads a call and just pop in and say hi. And I was actually going to ask you what result apart from a small nuclear device going off tomorrow in the Liverpool United game, but right. I guess we've covered that already. But
we will keep talking about it probably the whole time.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, for years and years, Liverpool were, because I grew up in Southport, which is only half an hour north of Liverpool, and my mum and dad both Liverpool supporters. So I kind of had that, I kind of liked them as a team, as a sort of second or third team, if you like. Not that there's anything apart from City as a priority, but since the bus thing a few years ago, and some of the attitude of the fans in the last couple of years, it's really swung. And I've got a lot of United mates because growing up over there and spending a lot of time in the Northwest and over here too, a lot of my friends are United, and I got to tell you, since they've been shit, they've been fantastic. So I
go on. Piqued my interest. Go on.
So, if we're going to be in a title challenge with either of them, I think it would be, and this, I mean, God, wash my mouth out with soap for even saying this, but I think it might even be preferable to be in it with United, because they, over the last few years, when we've been up against the Scousers, they've been very supportive of City. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I hope they sink down to the Europa League positions and below. But if we're not in it, then I think I'd prefer them over Liverpool at this point. But having said that, I think what we've seen with Guardiola sorting out the back four with Stones and Diaz the last few weeks, I can't see anyone but City actually bringing that title home at the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean that same way.
Yeah.
It's so just to kind of set the stage for the top three, at least in the table, by the time that we took the air, because the Chelsea match hadn't started yet. I mean, they'd have a long way to go, but United are in first on 36, Liverpool in second on 33, and City in third on 32 with a game in hand.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've gone back and forth in this like 5 or 6 times, but I do believe that's big time stuff. I do believe that a United win, I don't know, a United win probably would be better. Liverpool, the only reason them winning would help us out, I think, is because it would limit, United wouldn't get any points, so obviously that's nice. Liverpool wouldn't pull away from us too far where we couldn't catch anybody. And Liverpool's injury record right now at the back is so extensive that I think they will continue to drop points throughout the season. Whereas Ole somehow is managing to start stealing points again. And I this is like all morning. It's been an argument inside of my head because I can argue both ways. Obviously, the best result is a sinkhole where the earth opens up, swallows everyone inside, and they're never to be heard from again.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I'm starting to think a United win might be better for us, because if United win and we bypass Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool catch us. So then it's just a 2-horse race, and I need to look up United's schedule, but I'm pretty sure they have some brutal matches coming up, and they're all away. So
yeah, the weird thing is though, they're better away than they are at home. I mean, if you remember the beginning of the season, they were dog shit at home. But it baffles me that it's that meme that's been doing the rounds of an elephant in a tree with United being top the last couple of weeks. Because you look at that side, and I mean, yeah, they've got some attacking talent, but I mean, if Fernandes goes down injured, I think they're sunk.
Yeah, I think so.
Total one man team.
I think if I was going to pick my actual preferred result, it would be a 3-3 draw, because it would be entertaining. Rashford gets a hat trick to get good guy points because he's the man, just for everything that he does. But it ends with both teams only having 9 men on the pitch because of straight red cards either way. So that way I've avoided being the bad guy because I didn't choose any injuries, and I've avoided being the bad guy because I didn't pick United or Liverpool to win. So give me
that works for me.
3-3 draw, 2 red cards each side. One for Bernardo. One for Bruno Fernandes, and one for Rashford gets one after the hat trick, and then then the other side, I don't care. Salah and Mane. There we go.
And they need to be violent conduct, three match ban cards, not just
100%. They probably should be even.
100%.
They might even be extended to 5 because of the despicable behavior.
No, not for those two teams. That's never happening. Not for those two.
Oh shit! All right. Well,
my only other thing I was going to say is I'm hoping that that following his display in the derby, I'm hoping that Fernandinho sees more playing time in the big games this season. That guy, I mean, Big Dave was on talking about Colin earlier on, you know, and I was only lucky enough to see the last couple of years of Colin's career after his injury. But the unheralded guy in that team was Alan Oakes, and for years, you know, Bell-Lee and Summerby got all the credit for the goals and everything. And Fernandinho, City's Alan Oakes, does all of the shithousery, as we know. I don't remember Alan doing that, but does all the hard work at the back that lets the headline grabbers do the fancy stuff up top and get the goals. And for me, it's sad to see this team in transition, because we've seen club legends like, you know, Zaba and Yaya and David and Pablo and the like, and it'll soon be Sergio, you know, leaving the club. And I mean, the time is fast approaching, unfortunately, that Fernandinho's falling into that. And hopefully Pep gives him a year's extension, because that guy is not 35. I'm sorry, he does not play like
You think he's lying about his age?
Oh, he's not 35. He's one of those Brazilians that I don't know what his background is, whether he grew up in the favelas or whatever, but you know, maybe he's one of those players that nobody knows actually how old he is. You know what I mean? Like, you sometimes get those players. And I mean, that guy has the engine of somebody 3-4 years younger. And you see, I mean, I know I shit on Plotry a lot, and I see what he brings, but I also see
use that name.
Yeah, you can have that. He's fine in your games against your Brightons and your maybe even Palace, although that's going to be a tough one tomorrow. But when you come into the big matches and you need somebody who can do the dark arts and who can transition that ball quickly for a counter attack, Fernandinho is your man every time. I love the man, and I hope he goes on forever, at least another year.
Somebody say Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fernandinho. Oh, you need to get Nebs on to sing his Fernandinho song. He's got a good one.
What?
Oh yeah, get Nebs. Jason, come on there.
Oh shit! All right, I'll tell you what. Mulv, do you want to step in real quick so I can go?
Yeah, I will.
Take care of business real fast.
Thank you, Dickie Bitters.
Yeah.
Anytime, boys. Keep up the good work, lads.
You are the man, Richard. Thank you so much.
See you soon. Take care.
All right, you taking a break, pal?
Yeah, I'll be right back. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll be back.
Nice one. All right. What's up? Mulv time. Joey's taking a piss, so I'm going to fill in for a minute. What we would like to do, we're in the second half of this show, is maybe transition into talking about the Palace game a bit. And what I'd love to see is somebody come on the show and help us pick a lineup that's going to beat Palace. So the link is in the chat if you'd like to join us. Here comes Nebs. So I'll bring Nebs on and we'll have a chat. Maybe he's got a Fernandinho song too. So here he comes. Welcome on, Nebs. Oh, he's gone. Oh, come back, mate. And we'll do this Palace thing, and we'll do a Fernandinho song. Love to hear it. Quite inventive with the songs up in Toronto. So, anyway, feeling good about tomorrow's match. City are in great form. Haven't lost in ages. Don't jinx it. But yeah. Relatively healthy. I mean, Laporte and Ake are still out, I think. But we're going with a pretty fit side. So we should be able to put out a really strong team. So both Joey and Nebs are here. So I'm going to bring them both in. Let's do it.
Hey, hi.
Here he is
How are
from
you?
CFC Toronto. It's Jason. It's Nebs. There he is.
What's going on,
Nebs.
fellas?
How are you, man?
No complaints, buddy. Happy New Year.
Happy
to both
New
you
Year.
guys and your families. Hope all's well on your
Not too
respective
bad.
ends. Yeah, same.
What do you want to talk about, dude? What do you got?
Let's talk about the City. I heard this is the City podcast, yeah? Plus, I heard a request from our friend Dickie Bitters.
Some of it is City. Some of it is mostly pies and sausage rolls. But for you, we will talk City, I suppose.
Big shout out to Spencer, who I saw earlier. Big shout out
Yep.
again to Dickie Bitters, to DMX, who brought his dogs out. Appreciate that. Sick guest appearance. You guys are pulling out all the famous musicians lately. It's incredible.
What can I say? Billy Duffy, Johnny Marr, DMX.
Not everybody has that pull, man. So shout out to you guys. So I heard we were talking about Fernandinho. You guys had me dancing around the bedroom here while I was trying to watch this Chelsea Fulham game.
Dickie Bitter said that you have a Fernandinho song. I won't make you sing it.
Oh, we do have a Fernandinho song, yeah. It's been around the block a few times. This is probably, I don't know, 5 years old now. It's a classic.
Is it?
Yeah, you want it?
I mean, if you're gonna,
We following in the trend of the
you
classic
can't,
musicians here? All right, cool.
you
let's
can't
go.
say it's a classic and then
All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is Fernandinho. Gareth Barry's unnecessary, cause Fernandinho. That's what's in the water up here in Toronto.
I like when Mulv comes out of the booth just just to be a
I'll
turd.
me up in the
Oh,
DM.
what a
I
guy.
want the collabo.
Oh boy. This has
What
been
up, Charlie?
this has been a weirder stream than I thought it was going to be, but I'm okay for it. So all right, let's see if we can try to get this thing back on
Shut up,
track here. Man, oh man. All right, so City are taking on Palace this weekend. We got into it a little bit. Is there anything about Palace that worries you, Nebs?
Yeah. Generally, when we play away at Palace,
Okay, fair enough.
Selhurst Park worries me. Although the atmosphere will be a little bit different here in the COVID times.
Yeah.
If and when we do play there, they worry me as much as any team that's. I don't want to call them lesser. I mean, that's disrespectful, but any team that doesn't necessarily match up or stack up in terms of talent tend to have the same game plan. Sans maybe Brighton, who kind of had some balls and came at us last game, which I appreciated. Palace, if they set up right, can always catch us on the counter. I imagine it's the same worry we have in most of these matches.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think they're going to come out and try and play in the fashion that Brighton did, but that worries me probably all the more.
So I'll go through just because, and just humor me here because Mulv and I haven't talked about this match at all. I've only heard a couple lineup predictions, kind of across the City podcast sphere. I do want to go through now that we have news on who is in and who is out. So Aguero is self-isolating due to being in close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. Palmer and Bernarbe, I'm not sure they'd feature in this anyways, but I believe they're still out. Laporte and Ake are out with muscular injuries. There is another center back available, but he can do one. So
Is
we won't
Laporte
even.
still alive?
I mean, his
I haven't
muscles
seen
are
him in a while.
injured, so I guess so.
I haven't seen him in a while. Who knows if he'll be back? I mean,
Palace.
such is the formidable form of John Stones and Ruben Diaz, right?
Crazy, isn't it?
Incredible.
A guy that in October of this year in John Stones, that most of us were probably like, you know what? January comes, maybe we do take Arsenal up on that deal. Now it's like, all right, Arsenal, you want to come get him? Give me Harry Maguire money. Like, let's you're gonna have to pay stupid cash for this.
60% of our fan base was ready to give him away in the summertime for a pocket full of quid. Not even. And here we are talking about a guy in Laporte who's probably been the first name on the team sheet for the better part of a year, and then you know, here we are.
Right. Let's see here. Palace. Mamadou Sakho is still out. Wayne Hennessy, Martin Kelly, Nathan Ferguson, Jeffrey Schlupp, and Connor Wickham all still out. Scott Dan and Gary Cahill are expected to return. The mindset that's out there right now is that they won't change from what they used against Arsenal. Arsenal was a 0-0 draw where they had Gaeta in goal, and then Ward, Tompkins, Kouyaté, and Mitchell as a back four. Then Townsend, MacArthur, Milivojevic, Eze, and then Benteke and Zaha. I think the only change they would make there would be Kouyaté for Cahill. Good try, Mulv. You almost nailed it, buddy. So I'm going to give you City's provisional squad, the guys that traveled. You tell me who you want to see against Palace. So we've got Ederson, Steffen, Walker, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz, THB, Mbete, Zinchenko, Mendy, Gundogan, Rodri, Dino, De Bruyne, Silva, Sterling, Torres, Mahrez, Foden, Jesus, Delap, and Nemecha. I think the goalkeeper I can probably pick for you.
Yeah.
So that'll be Scooter.
Nick Tat it is.
Oh, shit. I was close.
I mean, Scooter one of these days. I don't know if tomorrow's the day.
Hey, Scooter next weekend would be electric.
Listen, if he gets an appearance, I imagine it'll be COVID making the decision. No disrespect to Scooty, but
so who are you going back for in this situation?
Back for, yeah.
Okay.
It's not broke right now, so don't fix it.
So we'll go right to left. That'll be Cancelo, Mulv, at right back. And then you'll have Ruben and Stones in the middle. And then are you keeping Zinchenko, or would you like to see Ake or Mendy or anything else?
I'm of the mind right now that Zinchenko's played well enough that he hasn't really done anything to deserve to lose the role. At this point, he's been until Pep sees something he doesn't like, or until I see something he doesn't like, it's kind of hard to keep him out of the lineup. So Zinchenko's been doing the job. In he goes.
So I'm going to ask you before we move forward in this, because so far we're kind of hanging tight from this weekend. Does the Aston Villa match on Wednesday have any bearing on who you're picking for this?
Yeah, I mean, always.
Okay. So midfield, are we going with a 3 like we've been doing, or we want a 2 and do we want 2 defensive midfielders and attacking midfielder, or you just want like a 6 and some 8s? What do you want?
I think we're going with the tried, tested, and true combination of fucking El Rodri, you dick.
Yeah. DJ, play that song. I'm making him hit too many buttons now.
In the midfield.
Fucking El Rodri, you dick.
There we go. Okay. All right. And who else we got in there, Nebs?
The German Xavi, come on.
Okay.
My personal favorite, and probably yours as well, Thingy.
Thingy. Hell yeah. I guess he's being shy today.
Foden on the left.
Foden on the left? Okay.
Indeed.
We tried to make this whole thing around so that diva Howard Hawkin would come on, but I guess he's too good. For shame.
I mean, I'd like to say God, but it's hard to say what his standing is in the squad these days. Like, he plays
he
barely.
is out. He is out this weekend.
In which case, I mean,
so I guess the question then becomes:
I know
do you want a
Pep's been loving
striker
the
or do you want a
false
false nine? Yeah.
No. At some point you have to work your strikers back into the squad, and I think I'd put Gabby up top.
Okay.
I mean, see how it goes. I'd rather test it out tomorrow.
Fluid, isn't it?
And go back to the false nine if it doesn't
Yeah.
work on Wednesday than the other way around. So, on the right side, I mean,
I pick an out of form player here.
Yeah.
Unless you go with Bernardo, who is.
I was going to say, or you could put Bernard on the right side, but I'm in the mind, same as Spencer. Eventually, you got to work Raz back in, and I think in the long run, you kind of need him to be successful this season in all competitions, and he needs to find some confidence. In relation to Raz as well, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, he stepped up for the pen, or he was selected." It's a strange selection because he's down in confidence or out of form. Like, from what I understand, he stepped up and offered to take the penalty. It would have been Kev if Kev wasn't knackered, as Pep said. And Pep seemed pleased with the attitude that despite the drop in form, despite him not being at his best, he still stepped up and had the balls to take it. So the fact he missed it obviously isn't great. I mean, the fact it was off target isn't any better. I believe the last 3 penalties off target in the Prem are all us. So I hope we don't add to that.
So in the chat, what are we saying about this lineup in the chat? Anybody disagreeing with this? Anybody feel like Bernardo? This is harsh on Bernardo?
It is harsh on Bernardo, but again, with the fixtures coming so fast and furious.
Kyle Walker.
He's a given on Wednesday. Kyle Walker too is like, but Cancelo is almost undroppable right now on the right side. And if Walker does go on the right, you almost have to put Cancelo on the left.
Well, I don't think Walker can play the same kind of whatever position that Cancelo's been playing. I don't think Walker has the stuff in his locker to do that. Now, that being said, if we wanted to flip-flop the entire formation, there is a man on in this lineup that is tailor-made for that, and it's Zinchenko. Now, if you want to put Walker on the right and he's the guy that goes down the pitch and Zinchenko plays the way Cancelo has been playing, just on the left side, I think that would work just fine. I would have no problems with that. But yeah, I think that lineup makes a lot of sense.
The only thing I could think maybe that you'd want to change on a whim, or if the heartstrings are being pulled at, maybe you switch Fernie with fucking El Rodrigo Dick. But I think for tomorrow, this is what I would go with, and then Wednesday pick from the guys that didn't have the opportunity tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Especially with this game, the home game.
Have you watched any of Palace or much of Palace at all this year?
I can't say I have. I've seen them maybe on 2-3 occasions. One being midweek against Arsenal. Okay,
I really want to get into this guy they bought from QPR, Eze. QPR or Reading, one of them, one of the white and blue hoop kits. And I haven't found, the issue is I haven't found a lot of people that have seen a lot of Palace.
Easy.
Yeah, he is not long for Palace. I'll tell you that much. Unless he goes full Zaha and just like stays there forever and does a weird like 18-month sabbatical somewhere else where he allegedly, we won't get into it, but unless he does something like that, I think Eze is destined for big things. And I think that's the real, yeah, go on, Johnny. I think that's the real threat in that entire side, because Townsend, I'm not worried about Townsend much. Now I've said that he is going to score a screamer again. I'm not terribly worried about him.
Second best goal he's ever scored in his life will come tomorrow. Not sure he can top the one he's already put in the bin against us.
I do think Eze, I do think Eze is the main threat. And if he ends up being on the same side as Cancelo and Cancelo takes up that inside position, I think we can kind of remove him from contention. So luckily, it's weird to even talk about Palace in this manner, but it's with the way that we have been playing and with the way that we've kind of tooled around with the way Cancelo plays, it actually does work out pretty nice that we should have some sort of way to stop a guy like Eze from getting the ball into Zaha and probably Benteke or Michy Batshuayi. So
we might. And I think his name's Ruben Diaz.
True. Also that.
Well, here's hoping. Fingers crossed. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to be as arrogant as to say there's a potential banana peel. I mean, any team can come and give us the business on any given day. It's how sports works. In particular, after COVID ravaged the squad and we're still trying to find our feet or our best lineup. But I trust our form right now. I trust what I see. And I'm hopeful that we can pull the result out tomorrow.
Good deal. Well, how about this? One last thing. How about you let me know what your score line is for tomorrow?
2-0. 2-0 City.
2-0 to City. Okay. All right.
Sure.
So 3 points. 3 points to City.
Come on, Nebs.
Nebs, thank you so much, dude.
Cheers, boys.
Always good seeing you. Take care of yourself. And just like everybody else up in Canada, hopefully we'll see you soon.
All the best. If you guys invite me back, maybe I'll be back with another banger next time. We'll see.
Oh, hell yeah.
Next time.
The hits keep coming. Cheers, boys.
We'll see you, brother. Take it easy. Mo.
What's up, bruv?
In case anyone wonders, Gladbach just blew a 2-1 lead in the Bundesliga, so they have drawn 2-2. I wanted to ask you real quick how you're feeling about the Palace match before we move on to the next thing we're going to get into. So go ahead and get ready in the chat. Let's get lined up in the queue. We want to talk about the next thing. It's a question that's come up a few times. Who do you want to see, or not who do you want to see, between United and Liverpool? If one of them were to get a result, which one is most fortuitous for City? And we also want to know, what teams do you think are realistically in the title race? So again, in the chat, click on the link to get involved in the call-in. That will be the next topic up right after this. Mulv, I want to know, how are you feeling about this Palace match, and would you make any changes from the match against Brighton?
I don't think I would, mate. I think I'd play the same side.
Okay.
I did think it was a bit harsh on Bernardo for you guys to drop him, but that front three is so fluid. I mean, any of those guys can play that number 9 role. The thing is that Phil Foden is arguably, well, he's number 1. He's our top scorer. Arguably, he's our biggest.
Is he really? He took over Mahrez.
Yeah. He's our biggest goal threat at the moment. So I'd like him up and around that in the box, near the box. Yeah. But then again, you guys are right in that you need Sterling back in form. You need one of Mahrez or Sterling to really find their form. Yeah. I agree with what you were saying about Mahrez earlier in that Aaron Robin trick. Like he has that in his locker. He's been smashing it into the stands more often than not, or it's getting blocked. He just needs to figure that trick out. And like he should have finished one against, was it Brighton?
He should have had one.
Yeah, he should have
had one
against Brighton. But he's got the same problem a lot of our forwards have got, including Kevin, who's been profligate.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Probably.
Smart podcasts.
Yeah, we need we've got a lot of momentum, right? And the defense is really rock solid. We could just have some of the forwards start finding more form. Bernardo's looking like his old self. That's a great sign. Phil Foden is looking absolutely magic. Mm-hmm. What if we could get, Jesus, Sterling, Mahrez, if they could slowly all creep back into form, we're going to be formidable, mate. So, regards to Palace, I fear they're going to sit back, and
they will.
Like I've just been describing, not enough of our forwards are in form. So yeah, I'm a bit worried. It could be a 0-0, could be a drab affair, if one of those players doesn't come to the forefront against Palace. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous that our goal scoring isn't at its peak right now, and it's my only worry. I'm not really worried about losing. I'm worried, about dropping 2 points to Palace.
Can I tell you the betting odds as of this morning on FanDuel Sportsbook? So for those of you guys that are overseas, FanDuel is the biggest online sportsbook in the U.S. that's actually starting to get legalized in a bunch of states.
Thank you, Fed.
Hey, I would take that on in a heartbeat. But my dumb state hasn't legalized it yet, so I have to go across the border to Pennsylvania or West Virginia or Michigan and do it on my phone from there, and then drive back. Otherwise, it's all off. It's all offshore. They've got City at minus 650, a draw at plus 650, and Palace at plus 1600. So Palace, massive underdogs. I think the thing to pay attention to here, though, is the over-under is set at 2.5 goals. So the total goals is set at 2.5 in this match, with the under making you some money. I said earlier, Palace has only conceded 2 goals in the past 4 matches. City are on whatever their streak is at this point. It's something ridiculous. This does feel like, and a few of the callers have said it, it feels like there's only 1 goal in this. You know, it feels like it's a 1-0 or a 2-1. And it's if it is a 1-0, I will be more uncomfortable in this one than I was against Brighton for sure. Like not even close. I will be, it's squeaky bum time 100%.
There was a comment earlier about Zaha, who's, you know, clearly their main threat, and Kyle Walker sort of being his kryptonite.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably wouldn't surprise me if Walker made his way back into the side for this, and maybe Cancelo moved over to the left. It would be harsh to drop Cancelo at the moment, but yeah, just Zaha. I mean, you need to take care of Wilfred Zaha. Make sure he doesn't hurt us. So Kyle Walker's probably up for that job. Just my.
I'll tell you what. I will. I'm just going to read my lineup real quick, and then we'll get into. We'll go ahead and skip transfers. Garcia's going for free this summer. I think we all knew that he can do one. No one's really surprised.
Yeah.
If you do have some transfer talk, go ahead and call in, and we can get into it. But
Barcelona offering City, you know, 15, 18 million, even 8 million. It's like me offering you 15 million for your truck. You could take it, but you'd never get it.
True.
I don't have 15 million. Barcelona doesn't have 15 million. So you can say, you know, City should have sold him for 15, 18 million, you know, last summer, but you'd still be trying to collect it 4 years from now. So you might as well just keep him until the summer and let him go for free. You know what I mean? I mean, they're absolutely skint. They've got nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it'd be like me offering you that for your house or your truck.
They spent all that money on Ousmane Dembele a few years ago. And then they were like, "Wow, maybe our scouting team's crap. Maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know what we're looking at here. Let's just get free players for a little bit, see if we can rebuild this thing."
Imagine City had somebody spend, you know, 100+ million for, I don't know who's a pretty good player that is nowhere near worth 100 million.
Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, maybe, but we paid. I'm trying to find something that we didn't pay too much for.
You see what I'm saying here?
Profit is just ridiculous, you know.
Zinchenko. If we were to sell Zinchenko this summer,
he gave us 70 million.
We bought
Zinchenko. That's like
even
what?
if they gave us 30, we paid 1.5 for him.
Yeah.
Business. Yeah, so my lineup is pretty much in line with everybody else. I had Cancelo, so Ederson, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz. I had Mendy in for this one.
Okay.
Just because I wanted some pace opposite Cancelo.
Gotcha.
I do hear the Walker against Zaha thing, but I think Zaha is more likely to be playing next to Benteke than he is out wide. Also, so midfield, I had Rodri, Bernardo, Gundogan, and then I had Sterling, De Bruyne, Foden. So it's basically this same thing. Just I've got Bernardo in there, and you can put him just where Jesus is, but it wouldn't matter because I've got Raz in there. Leave Sterling in.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got Raz.
Who's missing out?
Jesus.
Jesus missing out. Okay, gotcha.
I've got, so in my mind, Jesus, and it seems kind of, and then put Bernardo like in the 9, I guess.
Okay.
In my mind, Jesus starts as the point of the attack against Cheltenham next weekend. And I know that seems kind of patronizing, but I also think it's a way to build some confidence where if you give me a front three of Jesus, Mahrez, and Ferran Torres against Cheltenham, I think that front three should rip them apart and all of them will build confidence. And it also gives you a chance to probably rotate all of the guys behind them.
Yeah.
Where each one plays like 60 minutes or something. I'm pretty sure we have 5 subs in that match. There's things we can do there to build confidence throughout the side.
Agree with you, mate.
Time to get into the controversial stuff.
Cool.
If you want to get involved, click on the link in the chat and get involved in the show. We are going to talk about the title race and the match coming up tomorrow, kind of the lead-in for City and Palace. It's United and Liverpool. Again, current table. I'm not sure if the Chelsea match is over yet, but it won't really have much effect on us. United is in first place on 36 points. Liverpool in second on 33. City in third on 32. Leicester in third on 32. And then Everton in fifth on 32. And Tottenham in sixth on 30. We do have a game in hand on all of those teams around us. So even after the United and Liverpool match tomorrow, we still will have some extra points floating out there. So we put the question out on Twitter as a poll, and okay, unlucky Scott Parker. We put the question out on Twitter as a poll, but if take a draw off the table, obviously a draw is what we all want. Take a draw off the table. What result would help City the most? What would you want to see? Would you rather see United win or Liverpool win? If United won, it would move them to 39 points. If Liverpool won, it would move them to 36 points. God, I really do hate this. I wish one of these teams was doing more shit this year than they are. You know what I mean? Like where it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I will always pull for the scenario that's best for Manchester City. I love Manchester City. You know, whatever's best, even if it means rooting for the Rags, rooting for Liverpool, whatever's best for Manchester City. And my view is that Liverpool is still a bigger threat than United. I won't believe United are a title threat until they actually make it to, March, still in a title race. They haven't been in a title race for 7 or 8 years. Liverpool have been one of the hottest teams in Europe. And while they have a lot of injuries, they still got a mentality that's carried over from those, 2 seasons of fantastic performances. So I will go by recent history and suggest to you that a United win is preferable for City. And I think it was Dickie Bitters who was saying that, or no, maybe it was I think it was Big Dave saying that he doesn't think United can put a streak of wins together.
Yeah.
And they can't get all their players performing well at the same time. Bruno Fernandes is kind of carrying them, and an injury to him could be problematic. So I'm going to suggest that a United win. If there has to be a winner, if no Anfield-sized comet approaches from space, that's a Liverpool win. Sorry, a United win is probably better than a Liverpool win. How about you, mate?
Yeah, like I told Dickie earlier, I keep going back and forth on it. In the chat, if you don't want to come on, at least in the chat, drop who you want to win. So just going off of what each club's record is so far this year. So United have won 11, drawn 3, and lost 3. Liverpool have won 9, drawn 6, and lost 2. City have won 9, drawn 5, and lost 2. So Liverpool, only because they've played one more match than us, have that extra draw. United, we've shown that we can outclass when we decide to go for it. I think the 0-0 was an anomaly. I don't think that's something that's going to stick around for the rest of the season. And I also don't think that Liverpool have the manpower to stage a strong enough comeback to catch up with anybody should someone pull away. Champions League is still coming, folks. Let's not forget about this. All of these teams are going to have one more competition added back into their schedule. Liverpool and United have to play each other twice in the next, I think, 10 days.
Yep. Good shout.
This is set up pretty well for us. So I think, as gross as it is, I think a United win, and the more we talk about it, the more I'm believing this. I think a United win is actually the best result for us. I would love to say a Liverpool win would be the best because, it would put them both within touching distance. Like it would put them both within a draw of us catching them. But if United win and if City win, City are firmly in second place with a game in hand, and we're only, we'd be 4 points behind. Well, I don't think United are going to run roughshod over this league. I think there's enough clubs out there that can steal points off of United, and I also think there's enough clubs out there that can just flat out beat them. We smacked them in the cup. I think if we meet up again, or when we meet up again in the league, that same type of scenario is probably going to play out because Pep won't be in this weird situation where he's trying to figure out what his side really is, and he's trying to figure out the defense, and he there was a lot of worries going into that. So I think a United win, and and we're off to the races.
Adam hates United.
Adam, you're not wrong, dude. I'm not pulling for it.
You know what? I love it. I love that he hates them.
I don't want it to happen. I don't. I want, like I told Dickie, I want like a Lovecraftian end to this match. Like the earth opens up, Cthulhu rises from the depths and eats everybody inside, and then takes them down into the core of the planet. Mm-hmm. But I've wished for that every damn time, and it hasn't happened yet, dude. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm playing the odds here, and I don't think Cthulhu returns this weekend. If he does, though, you heard it on Noise and Neighbors.
Is that Star Wars?
You son of a bitch. No, dude, it's Lovecraft. You don't read books? I stay reading books, dude. No, I read all the books. I don't read.
It shows that you read books.
Thanks, dude. I have a good vocab. So I think we will. Let's. Damn, sorry, dude. Our bad. I like the sentiment there that they would be so exhausted that they would just start, that they'd fall apart the rest of the season from penalties.
Let's hear in the chat who is in this title race. How many teams are still in it? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5?
Let me.
Totspur still in this? Who's in it?
Let me give you an idea of how, just kind of a points gap here. First place down to where Arsenal are in 11th. There is only a 12-point gap. City closed an 11-point gap from March to May. Just saying.
I don't think Arsenal's.
I don't think they are there. But so Chelsea is on 29 points now with this victory today. That puts them in somewhere between 7th and 9th, depending on their goal difference. You've got Villa, West Ham, Southampton, and Chelsea are all kind of right there. And then in 6th place, you've got Spurs on 30 points. United, again, is only 6 points above them. Spurs are falling into a kind of a rough patch right now. I think Jose is getting found out again. So I don't anticipate them making a run, but Everton are still hanging in. Leicester are still hanging in. City, Liverpool, United. I mean, I think it's a 4-horse race right now with Everton getting the short end of the stick. I feel bad about that.
Spencer's saying it's a 3-horse race. Joey's gone with 4.
So the chat basically is saying that this is going to stay in the Northwest.
Sounds like it. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's us, Liverpool, and United.
Brendan Rodgers believes his own bullshit enough for me to believe in him, you know? And I think that would be the ultimate kind of prank on the Premier League is Brendan Rodgers wins the league with Leicester in the COVID year. You know, like right after Liverpool won it. I don't know.
You never know. It's been a weird year.
It's been very strange. Well, dude, I think we're getting to the end of this thing.
Yes, mate. This was great.
If you are new to this or if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you get updated every time we drop a new video or anytime we're doing another live stream. These call-ins probably will become a more frequent thing just because of the nature of this season. If you want to support the show, as always, you can go to manscaped.com and use promo code NoisyPod to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. Or if your balls are fine the way they are, you can go to patreon.com/noisypod. And for just $1 a month, you can support the show. For everyone that has already joined up and become a patron of the show, we appreciate the hell out of you. You don't know how much you mean to us because I guess you probably don't. You just don't know the finances that go into this thing. But because of the nice folks on Patreon and at Manscaped, the show is paying for itself now, which means we can actually use show money to do show things instead of our own money. So again, patreon.com/noisypod if you want to support the show for just $1 or even £1 a month. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you just like listening to the podcast, we are on all the podcast platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review for 5 stars. Go to noisypod.com for anything else. If you want to buy some swag over there, we do have clothing and things for your home you can purchase. And yeah, I think that's it. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at NoisyPod. And hell, dude, I think until next time, everybody, that's it. So, ta-ra.